This week in the 5-Dot Loft, I'm building beautiful, lush ARPs from scratch. And I'll walk you through the process step by step. Stay with me. Welcome back to the 5-Dot Loft, where the process is the story. I'm Al Clark. Today, I'm diving into ARP sound design for atmospheric drum and bass. But these ideas can apply to any genre. I'm going to show you how starting with your BPM, your subdivision, and delay up front shapes everything from your amp envelope to your filters and LFOs. Let's dive in. Okay, so we're here in Ableton Live. I've got my push 3 going, and my signal path is that I've got an instance of wavetable default. Down in the matrix, I've got all of the modulation cleared, and so I'm just looking at a, I'm just looking at a sine wave, okay? I'm coming into my arpeggiator, and then I'm going into Valhalla Supermassive. Valhalla Supermassive, highly recommended, free plugin, great sort of reverb delay thing, and delay is what we're going to be using as an integral part of our ARP, so we need that. Okay, first things first, when I'm sound designing with ARPs, the first thing I'm going to do is choose a BPM. So if I'm using the ARP as inspiration for a track, I need to choose the BPM. If I'm going to fit it into another track, got to have the BPM. So I'm going to set that. When I go to create, I'm going to have BPM as part of my sound design choices. I'm going at 160, atmospheric drum and bass, that's my wheelhouse, adjust to taste. Second, I need to pick a key, okay, and a chord quality. I'm going to be in D minor, actually D Dorian, and my chord quality is I'm going to use 1, flat 3, 5, 7, 9, D minor 9. Okay, D minor 9, that's what I'm going to be using. So if I engage my ARP, my arpeggiator, put it on hold, okay, there's my D minor 9. Is my mic scratching? Sorry about that. Okay, D minor 9. Notice my arpeggiator going up, up. I'm going to choose not down, okay, not up, down, okay. What I'm going to choose is converge. To me, as a guitar player, it reminds me of outside in Travis picking. So low note, high note, and then the middle voices alternating. It's like Travis picking. Plus it has that, like, with 5 notes, that sort of rolling sound to it. Love that. Okay. Now, next, I'm going to take Valhalla Supermassive. I'm going to bring this over here because I want you to notice what we've got going on here. I've got my arpeggiator set at 1/8, okay? And then I have my subdivision of my delay set at 1/8 as well. Mixes at 0, so you're not hearing that. But let's hear what 1/8 and 1/8 sounds like. I'll come here, I'll hit 50%. Nice. Okay, on grid, sounding really good. Okay, let's move on. Let's go with 1/8 to 1/4. So I'm going to drop this down to 1/4, still on grid, but a slightly different sound. Nice. Oh, I hear a lawnmower in the background. Apologize for that. Okay, let's go to 1/4 to 1/4. So we'll drop this down to 1/4 and hear what that sounds like. slower in development. Still useful though, but not for our case. What I want is 1/8 on this side and then a dotted quarter on this side. So 1/8 on the arpeggiator, dotted quarter on the delay. This is going to give us a polyrhythm. So listen to this. I'm going to hit this on hold here just so you can hear this all together. Oh, that's so nice. That's so beautifully rolling. Now at this point, we've got our key, our chord quality, our subdivisions, our BPM all in place. Now let's start to do some sound design. I'll bring the oscillator and open it up a little bit. Ooh, I'm feeling that. Now, watch this. What I usually do is I immediately go down to the filter and I just start to yeah. Let's open this up just a little bit. Let's modulate the filter opening and closing. That suggests to me an LFO. Okay, so I've got my LFO here, no retrigger, set to the note value, 1 bar, okay, in a sine wave shape. So I'll hit the filter frequency, that opens it up here in the matrix, and then I'll slowly bring LFO up. Bring that down a little bit. Yeah, so nice, pulsing, beautiful. Okay, now we've got this sort of basic thing happening. Listen to the attack or the initial hit on each of the notes. It's very percussive. So to soften that up, to make it in a guitar way, to make the notes swell in, to soften them, we'll go to our amp envelope and we'll increase the attack time. Listen to how that swells each note in. Nice. I can bring my sustain down at this point because that's not even affecting it. And let's go over to the release time and let's increase the release time. And listen to how it starts to create a chord. Hear it in the background? And hear how the filter sweeps it? So now we have the pulse and we have that chord going on in the background. Now, let's go ahead and add a little of Oscillator too. And it adds like that shimmer. And we can get that you could see here in the feedback, we're up around 75%. So that's holding there, creating that shimmer. Let's add a couple of these tracks. Add a nice pad. Let's add the bass. undulating, okay? Let's come over to this drum rack. Let's kill the pad. Let's tighten up these drums. Bring it down a little bit. Let's get rid of the bass. Okay, let's say we want to tighten this up a little bit, make it more percussive, let it fit in with the drums a little bit. So, first thing we'll do is we'll come and we'll decrease the release time. Let's go over and decrease the attack. Okay, let's add a little bit of movement on Oscillator 2 from envelope 1. So we'll drop that sustain down, okay? And we'll go to the oscillator position on Oscillator 2 and start to apply envelope 1. And you see here, let's emphasize that more by bringing this resonance up. Nice. Now we've got a proper percussive ARP going. Let's bring these drums back a little bit. Of course, I have to bring in guitar. How about that pad? Two different ARPs, based in the same thing, just changing how the envelopes work, always sort of adhering to the BPM, the subdivision, just changing things up, two different sounds, but both of them fit perfectly within this track. So that's it for this week. I hope you saw how starting with BPM and subdivision, adding delay early, choosing a simple waveform, shaping the amp and filter envelopes can help place your ARPs perfectly within the context of your track. If you like this kind of discovery-based content, a like, a subscribe would be great, and let me know in the comments how you create ARPs and whether this method helped. I'm Al Clark. This is the 5 Dot Loft. We'll see you next week.